Chicago. Thank you for sharing that.
Confirming a recording and live on YouTube.
Great. Let me just go. I just got to wait for the YouTube to pop up so I can mute myself there. Chicago. Okay. Hello and welcome back. Day 3 of the Fierce Awakened Woman 2022 Creativity Jam. We've had a really full weekend. On Friday, we spent some time getting reacquainted and engaging our creativity muscles. Yesterday, we spent quite a bit of time kind of going inwards to nurture and nourish our own creativity expression, connecting with our joy, learning how to balance this loop of giving and receiving, aligning our bodies and minds and spirits and hearts and getting all of that kind of working together. And today, our theme kind of builds on this, and it's an inward and an outward movement where we are expanding our joy, expanding it, because now that we have it, we can radiate with it. And we have tools and techniques that we can use to make a practice of creativity. And I'm going to mention this here. It came to me this morning. My mom's been very present for me these last few days. Her birthday was on May 5th. She passed away about 13 years ago, young, at 58 years old. So I feel always, and this is Mother's Day in the United States and in many other countries around the world. Today is Mother's Day. So she's been very present for me these last few days, and I often wonder what she would think of me showing up here as a joy journey guide, and how she would be laughing with me dancing in the living room. So what I've decided to do is I've opened up all of the sessions from Friday and yesterday, and all of the sessions today will remain live until tomorrow, so you have some time to soak it in. And that wasn't my initial intention with this. I wanted to get to have a staggered way of viewing it, but there was so much sweetness that came out of yesterday's sessions and on Friday's sessions, and I want you to have the chance to go back and listen to some of them if you've missed them, or tune back in to a couple of the sessions. And that's how we're going to start our day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you, in every way that you show up as a nurturing and loving, kind human being. Whether you are a mother to children, or a grandmother, or just someone who helps nourish other people, I stand with you, and I hope you appreciate that gift, and it expands your joy in new ways as well. So with that, I will just introduce myself, because I haven't done that yet. I'm Jenn Baljko, founder of Always on My Way and the creator of the Creativity Jam. And I'm coming to you live from a small town outside of Barcelona in Catalonia. And I am so happy to see you. I'm so happy you've been able to join in whatever sessions felt good for you this weekend. And today we're going to just start with the very simple opening up our circle and inviting in joy. So the last couple days I've actually lit incense for you, and I've lit the candle before and then blown out the candle at the end of the day. But today I'm going to light the candle because we really do need to radiate with all of our light, and I want you to feel for a moment while I'm talking just the candle's glow. You know, I'll hold it up a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. As the flickering calms down, just allowing yourself to eye gaze for a moment with that. Taking a breath in, exhaling. Inhaling light and love. Exhaling tenderness. Inhaling enthusiasm. And exhaling compassion. Inhaling pleasure and delight. And exhaling with a calm, abiding sense of stillness. I open my heart to all of you as I feel your heart opening to me. For the people in the live Zoom room now, and for those of you watching later, we are all connected. Our sacred circle is open for the 2022 Creativity Jam Day 3. So welcome. I'll put this back on the altar. I have a couple different altars here, so this one goes with my rose petals from a rose ceremony that I did for myself a few days ago, and the rose petals from yesterday's opening to receiving session, which was not recorded. So I mentioned that all of the sessions are on YouTube live and will stay open this whole weekend until tomorrow, Europe time. The sessions that were not recorded because the intention of the container was to be present for those moments in that space and in that moment in time. So I'm not going to talk too much today because I'll just give you a little bit of the order of the day. We have Hillary coming up with a meditative journey with her Icelandic horse guide, Tilrun. I know some of you are particularly very interested in that, so you've brought it to my attention before. I'm glad you're able to be here to see it. It will be available also afterwards. You'll see that. And then we have Kim Purcell, who is taking us on a writing journey and encouraging us to get to that book that we've always wanted to write, myself included. I'm also I've been a journalist and a writer for 30 years, and I have a book that I'm writing, and I'm mentoring people who are aspiring to be authors as well. But Kim brings a lot of joy into her novel writing process. I do more memoir and nonfiction writing, and she has some really great ideas for how we can tap into that spirit of things. And then later on we have a getting into meditative flow session where we are going to balance a little bit between movement, meditation, and like a block of creative focus. We'll be doing that for about 90 minutes, and then you'll be able to showcase your own creative expression. That's later on today. We have also Kim and Linda from My Creative Break, who will give us a chance to play on Sunday so that Monday feels less heavy. And then Leia is going to help us unleash our voice with curiosity and love and joy, and put some power into our presence of voice, which is quite beautiful. And then we're going to have, at the end of the day, we're going to have dance party, 20 or 30, about 20 minutes of dancing and just celebrating who we are. And then Taria gave me the idea yesterday to have a little bit of a cocktail party at the end of the day before we close out the whole weekend. So bring your beverage of choice. I will have a glass of celebratory wine. There are vineyards all around me, so I will have a little bit of wine on my Sunday night to celebrate. Use your own judgment and whatever beverage you'd like to bring, but it will be a chance for us to just gather and play and hold each other for a few moments longer. All of that is on a lot of it is on your event schedule page. Let me just grab that for you so you have that. Oh, how funny that I didn't put that right in front of me. Just give me a second there. I just gotta bounce to a different part. I know, it looks like I'm completely organized. There are lots of different pieces that have come together. And on that note, I do really want to give a very important shout out to a lot of the behind the scenes work that had to happen to bring all of this to life. I want to give a heart full of gratitude to my assistant, Anjali. There's been a lot of things kind of changing in her life, and she's not able to be here this week, so I've had to take on a lot of the back end stuff. But for the last 2 months, she's been really engaged. She helped me last year with last year's Fierce Awakened Woman Conference, and this year she came back, and she's beautiful in all the ways that she works her organization magic to make things happen. And also to my editor and art director, video editor, Ryan Gray. He has been putting together a lot of the videos that you've been watching and making sure that they flow in a nice way. And of course to Nikki, who's with us today. She's been my virtual Zoom assistant extraordinaire, helping me balance all the things going on in the Zoom room while I can just bring my attention and focus to you. So, and of course to all the speakers who said yes, and to all of you who've come. This wouldn't exist without all of you. So I say that with gratitude. And what I do want us to consider as we come into today, and as we transition from this very high vibration, high frequency connection that we've made here, is to begin to think of how we can carry this forward. It's important, as Natalie Nixon said, we have to come with wonder and rigor. We really need both here. We need to have the ability to step into wonder and daydreaming and imagination, intuition, improvisation, inquiry. And we also have to take a step. We need to be resilient and persistent and dedicated and determined also to a certain amount. There is a very masculine energy and a very feminine energy to creation. So how will you honor this going forward? I've been talking about a practice and a ritual, something that can become a routine. And as we ponder this, the thing that I'm offering is, see, life in my neighborhood. There's a dog barking. Hope it's not disturbing. But there's the thing that I'm going to suggest is, as with anything, as with an exercise routine, as with a meditation practice, as with an embodiment practice, anything that, playing an instrument, anything that we want to do well over time requires us to show up. In mindfulness meditation, there are 3 instructions. That's it. Take your seat, focus on your breath, label your thoughts, thinking, and come back to your breath. 3 simple steps. But when you come to your cushion every day, it is a world of difference every single time you show up. Sometimes it's super easy, and sometimes it's irritating and bored. You know, you just show up, and you know what you do? You put your timer on, and you say, I'm sitting here for 10 minutes. Come what may. And the same is sort of what I'm suggesting with the creativity practice. How can we deepen this so that it becomes just a natural part of our day, a natural part of our flow? We get so pulled away into all the gazillion things we have to do all the time. But when do you come back to yourself? How can you make this a radical act of self-love and tenderness for yourself? My suggestion is to start a 66-day creativity challenge, a Boost Your Joy creativity challenge. 66 days, I know there's a certain amount of time that you need to implement to put something for real into your beingness so that it feels like a routine. I don't know if 66 is the magic number, but it's the magic number for this conference because it's a 6-year. Numerologically, it's a 6-year. I do like the combination of the 6-6. And 66 days feels like 2 months and a little bit more, right? Like if you could do something like this and sustain it for 2 months and a little bit more, you'll probably come back to it. Maybe not every day, but you'll be in a practice of it that you might go, oh wow, I didn't do that today. Let me take 5 minutes to do that. And later on, when we get into the creative flow part, which is coming up later this afternoon, that is my practice. It's just an extended version of it, but my practice is a few minutes of movement, a few minutes of meditation, and a few minutes of pulling out my markers and pen, my paint, whatever feels good in that moment, and without any attachment, just allowing whatever comes through to come through. Knowing that it's going to be impermanent, I'm not creating with any intention of it lasting. Sometimes it's just as simple as rearranging something on my altar. But I notice when I don't do these things that I become cranky, I become more irritated, I'm more easily lit up. And when I'm lit up, like I've been very angry about the news coming out of the United States. I'm on a joy journey here, but I can't even express how angry I am about some of the things that have come up. And there might be news soon about how we might work through some of that. But as our collective, as our Fierce Awakened Woman collective, and beyond us, there are some things behind the scenes that might be in progress for this. But when I can come back to joyful mind and joyful body, joyful presence, it gives me a little bit of a different perspective of how to manage my anger, how to work with anger in a way that can still elevate us, in a way that doesn't set us backwards. So that's what the creativity challenge is about, is how can you bring these little sparks into your day and do this? Something for you, just 10 minutes of tenderness for you. And I very ambitiously thought that I would have a 66-day sequence of 5-minute boost your joy activities ready to kick off tomorrow. I don't. I was so focused on doing all the prep work for the conference that I only got about, I'm 80% there with it, but I need to check some of the back end email sequencing and how to do that. I will announce that later this week. You'll see an email. You all are on the Fierce Awakened Woman conference registration list. So take a look at that. You'll see some other announcements there too. And if that's something that you'd like to participate in, it's $1 a day for 66 days. And if that feels a little bit out of reach, I know we're all going through different financial situations, just email me and we'll talk about it and see what happens. But I really hope that you can create sustainability in this. And as we come into today, really give yourself some time to think about this and how to think about it, to feel into it. What is your practice going to look like? And it has to be unique to you. It has to feel good for you. I will give, during this 66-day sequencing, different things that I have done over the course of the last 2 years. I didn't consciously create a creativity project routine. It's only recently that I started to notice that I was doing it. And I think it was the pandemic that really kind of lit me up, like, wow, I'm so busy trying to understand everything that's going on in the world. I'm just going to sit here and color, for 10 minutes. I was in a different apartment before, and before I walked into my office, I set up a coloring station. So I had coloring books and crayons and markers and paint. So before I opened my office door, it was a very visual reminder to me that, well, just take a minute. And I literally would just color 2 sections, and then I'd walk away from it. And then I'd come back the next day. So over the course of a week, it was really curious to see what colors came out, depending on my mood that morning. So that's a practice too. And I'll encourage you also to go to Melissa Mitchell's speaker page. Get that through the event schedule page. Click to her free gift. Her free gift is a very simple way of tracking your progress. It's a butterfly, and it's marked with like 30 days or I think it's marked with numbers. But all you do is you color in the day that if you are trying to build a practice, you color in the little section of the butterfly that you did your practice. You could do it for meditation, you could do it for creativity, you could do it for embodiment, you could do it for all three. If you did all three that day, just print out a couple pages of it and then be conscious about that. Fill it in. And before we go, not really a sales pitch here, but I do want to show you all the different ways that we can stay connected. I'm going to put it in the chat, and I'll put it into the website as well later on today and into YouTube. But oh, how funny that it's not letting me do that. But I am offering Joy Journeying with Jenn workshops every Friday until July 29th. We move through this. We move through the 4 pillars that I find fundamental to creativity, which are the first Friday of the month we do movement. The second Friday of the month we do meditative flow, where we bounce between movement, meditation, and bring your own creativity project, where we work individually in virtual circle. Then we move into a guided crafting session. Last month, the session was making sigils. I'm thinking that the May session is going to be making mandalas. So we have like a 90-minute block of time to make our own mandala. And then the 4th is a mindful writing workshop. And if there is a 5th month, it's a little bit of a surprise. It's a map your bliss. And there's only a couple months that have a 5th Friday. But I do it on Friday because it's Venus's day. She is our feminine archetype, protecting us in the sky. And I've not paid enough attention to that aspect of my life. So, I decided Friday is the day that I celebrate my divine feminine and showing up in this workshop and holding the space for others to share that as well. So you'll see that information. If I can click it, let me just, and here just are a few ways, like there I have a Facebook group. Let me just grab, let me see why this is not coming. You can sign up for my newsletter. Let me see if this works a little bit better. For some reason, it's not letting me put it into the chat, which I find very funny today. See, like Nikki, see all these funny things we're having with our technology? Oh, hold on. Maybe it's there 100 times and I haven't seen it yet. All right, so there's some of the information you'll see. I'm also starting I have 2 businesses, Always on My Way and JenniferBaljko.com. And the JenniferBaljko.com, I offer mindful writing mentoring to aspiring authors. And I do 3-month mentoring sessions every year. And the next one starts in the middle of May. And it goes from May to the beginning of August. So if you're thinking to write a book or you're thinking to start a long-form writing project, I bring all of my journalism and editing and freelance writing experience into that, and do a lot of one-on-one work to help nurture your writing practice. But that's where you see a lot of those things. Those are the key things for now. So that's it. We're right at the bottom of the hour. I'm going to stop the YouTube recordings and this recording because we're going to welcome Hillary Adams for our meditative journey, right? It's Hillary who's first, right? Yeah. Just making sure I got the schedule right. We're bringing Hillary Adams on. Hope you can stay on for our watch party here. If not, it's also going live on YouTube as well. So thank you, and I'll see you